Hi everyone, welcome to A Godly Home. So the kitchen project continues. I have decided for sure that I want to polyurethane the woodwork around this door. So I've taped off around the edge of the door and down along the floor. I don't tape off when I paint, but with polyurethane you can't wipe that up with a hot soapy rag. So I have taped off. And then I've decided I definitely want to polyurethane the doors on this hutch slash pantry cabinet. We turned it into a pantry cabinet. So I just laid down a construction grade trash bag there to make sure that I don't spill any on the floor. And then over here, these closet doors, this whole closet section and the doors were built by my son as a homeschool project when he was probably about 13 years old. It is one of my favorite parts of my house, but because we were homeschooling at the time, we never slowed down to polyurethane them. We just left them like that. And then I close in the corners of my house with wood instead of like those metal corners that people use when they're doing the sheetrock job, because I have found that those get banged and then your putty's falling off the corners. So I have that corner there on that wall and going down the hallway that needs to be polyurethaned too. And I will be just taping off the floor here and taping around like I did the other door. And that is what I will be working on for polyurethane tonight. And then I have decided I want to paint these cupboard doors because we reused some of the old cupboard doors and those are painted. So I'm going to make those match. When I first bought this house, this decorative window was all painted white, and I stripped the whole thing down, and I used a Dremel with different bits to get the scrolly part sanded down, and I wanted to do something really neat in the kitchen, so I did the frame in polyurethane and let it go natural, and then I did the swirls in walnut stain. So I've got a mixture of the light and dark wood going on in my kitchen, and it will make more sense when the whole kitchen project is pulled together. But I'm kind of the type of person, I don't care what's in style. I don't care what everybody else is doing or what's going to make more value to my home, because God willing, I want to live in my home the rest of my life or as long as I can, unless the Lord has different plans for me. So I'm not really thinking about resale value. I'm just thinking about the things that I like. And this cabinet here is a cabinet that I refinished several years ago. And this was in the shed of my husband's grandparents' shed. And it was a mess. I'll see if I can find a picture of what it originally looked like. And I stripped this down and refinished it to look antique. Well, it is antique. We figured looking at it that it was an 1800s cabinet, and have had that on the wall for many years. I just absolutely love it. It's so special to me. We're figuring it must have came out of my husband's great grandmother's farmhouse. That's the only thing we can figure. It's got this old antique latch on it, and it is very old, as you can see with the close-ups. But anyhow, so I've got some of that darker wood going on with that, and I did the green paint in there to try to make it look like an old antique green stain. I don't know if you guys remember any of the old green stain, but Anyhow, that's one of my favorite pieces, but I'm looking forward to getting most of this project done. Some of it, unfortunately, is going to have to wait till springtime to finish up, but I think it'll be looking pretty good by Thanksgiving. You know, rusty from not being used. What's this thing called?
This is a miter saw.
Miter saw.
The original miter saw. Not
And what is the year of this one?
70s. I don't know the exact year. I could find out pretty easy because the number's on the top. Just got a frigged up tooth.
That's what's doing it?
I'm wondering. It seems to be when you get out on the end of it.
Yeah, but it seemed to get better as I used it. That's why I wonder if it's just rust.
Pretty dang close to it. Looks like it's bottomed out. It's bottomed out.
There. I show the cut for the channel.
All the fibers and stuff off it. I don't know what you want to look at.
Nice. Awesome. So I had mentioned to my son that I wanted to try an old-fashioned saw on the woodwork, and anytime I mentioned anything to him, he just always buys it. So he ordered this, and it showed up on Saturday, and it was pouring rain out. We actually weren't going to be able to work on the house until this saw showed up because we couldn't get the saws outside. So this came, and we just ended up like using a clamp and putting it on the table saw and using the table saw as a table for it because we didn't want to put it on the kitchen table. And we did all of our work on Saturday using this saw, and it was really super fun, and it actually makes a better cut than the power tools. And so we took turns using it. He used it some, and I used it some. And this woodwork that we were doing around the decorative window actually needed to be hand carved and stuff in a few places in order to make it fit, because it was originally in this house, and it was on a wall that would have been an outside wall to the original house. And then later on, somebody built onto the house, and they just removed those windows and turned it into a decorative window. But nothing is level or straight, and like some parts of it stick out more than others. And so you will see in this video, we ended up using chisel, hand plane, everything in order to make this fit and work. Oh, and I should tell you, he bought this one from an antique dealership. He ordered it online because he said that the newer ones are made out of plastic and they're not any good. So you're saying that like this Ryobi tape measure was a stocking stuffer that they had out for just 1 year, and that Ryobi always does a section in Home Depot of stocking stuffers each Christmas?
Yeah, bits. These, they had a Ryobi hammer 1 year. They had a Ryobi 1/4-inch ratchet set, Ryobi like bits and gear like that, like all different random stuff that come over. I think they had some Ryobi pencils 1 year.
Oh, cool.
Just different stuff like that.
So,
and then if it's really popular, they'll bring it back the next year at Christmas, like this tape measure. They had it 1 year, and then the next year when Christmas came, it came back out. And I don't know if they're still making it or not, but you can probably get them on eBay.
Okay, so Do you happen to know what their stocking stuffer selection is for this year?
I have not looked, but they always run promotions at Christmas with stocking stuffers, and then in the summertime they have Ryobi days, and you can get like major money off your tools.
Okay.
Those are their two big promotions.
All right. Awesome. All right. Let's cut this board. At this point, my son decided to put a newer saw into the antique miter box because he thinks that the old saw either has just a little surface rust, which is making it want to bind a little bit, or it might have like one tooth that's slightly bent. So he's going to take a look at that later, but he sets me up on the antique miter box with a modern Stanley saw.
Got these thick carbine teeth on here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And those carbine teeth, if you don't you want to set it so that your saw blade is cutting down past your line on your scrap side.
Okay.
Because with these wide teeth, if you don't, you automatically lose like an eighth of an inch. So like if you've got it on your usable side, cutting down the edge of your line, you're automatically taking an eighth of an inch off this board.
Oh, wow.
That's why, like if you're cutting a bunch of these boards the same length and you want to use one board to mark the other board, you want to make sure you use the same board every time. Because that's the same thing too. Every time you make a mark, it'll get shorter if you use the next board.
I knew that.
That's why. Because these, like with this, it's got thin teeth, fine tooth. It's not really a big deal. But with this, it can be a big deal. But it will just for the sake of lessons.
So we have a modern saw in this miter box.
Hang on. Let me get over here and
Do the one bow.
do the check. Yep. Check. Ow, jeez. All right.
So we have a modern saw in the miter box at this point. And this saw
I don't
is
know.
called what?
It's a back saw. It cuts on the back stroke. It's really not ideal for this, but it's fine tooth, and it's what I have.
And we're trying it because yes, like the saw on this cake.
I like how this is set up. You can use any saw with a grip. Makes it nice. If you first wanted to, they could go buy another one of those saws like that, longer. And do the same thing.
Do you prefer to do your projects this way or with power tools?
If I had a wood shop that was actually set up, so I could have everything set up and ready to go, I wouldn't do everything. Probably do like on Coranian, do hybrid. Do some with hand tools, some with not. But I could see myself doing one or two projects a year with hand tools just to stay sharp and for fun.
I'm enjoying this.
But, because it is a lot of fun, but if you're not set up for it, it's not really that fun to have to sack all this stuff out. It's easier just to get out with your power tools and get it done and be done with it. But for fine work, I prefer hand tools. Because it does a lot better job, I think. Stop fidgeting with it.
I thought it cut loose. But it cut loose, and it didn't.
No.
Oh, that's going to make a huge gap. Look how much that stuck out by. What do I do?
You're gonna have to cut out for it. I'm gonna make myself a notch. Right like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna make that notch as deep as I can. So I know where I want to be. Get right on my line. I'm gonna do it again. You want to keep, when you're using the chisel, I would not recommend you using a chisel, for the record. You want to be choked up on it, so you don't want to like hold it back here and do this, because you'll get this going and you can freaking really mess yourself up with one of these.
Okay, and why shouldn't I do it? Because it's dangerous?
It's pretty dangerous, really. Things can go very wrong with chisels, very easy.
And here it is all finished. I'm sorry, I thought we had the camera on when we were using the hand plane and the nail gun, but once again we didn't. It is so hard to make sure you're moving the camera around and getting it on and off as you want to, and actually being able to do these carpentry jobs. But hopefully before this project is done, I will be able to show that. And we are very pleased with the way that this has turned out. And I will be showing a photo at the end of that antique cabinet before I refinished it. Here is the pantry cabinet, and I have put 3 coats of poly on those doors, but they still need more. The closet is done. 3 coats of poly did that. And I got 3 coats of poly on the door, and that needs more. And then this is the cabinets all painted. I'm very happy with the way that these turned out. I wanted these painted in this section so it would be easy wipe up, and I think they look great. So this is what that antique cabinet looked like when we originally found it. I ended up washing the whole thing multiple times with bleach water to kill any mold on it. And then after it dried, I did the whole inside of it with a mold killing primer after I sanded it. I did sand it first, and then I did a mold killing primer on the inside. And then I sanded and stripped using a stripper the whole outside. And then I refinished it using a green paint on the inside, and I painted it kind of streaky so that it would look like an antique stain. And then I used walnut stain on the outside, and then multiple coats of polyurethane on the inside and the outside, and this was the final results. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Bye.